What is up, Ravens Nation? Welcome back to Vlog Talk, your home for all things Baltimore Ravens football. Today we are discussing a few different stories going around the Baltimore Ravens today. We're going to talk about the injury report at practice today. We're going to talk about some exciting Lamar Jackson news, and we're going to address the Dalvin Cook rumors. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. And if you're new here, take a second, subscribe. It's free, it's easy, it helps grow this channel. I appreciate all of you. Now, to get into our first story here, reported by Jeff Zrebick, the practice reports, the Ravens announced that Ardarius Washington has been designated to return to practice. Obviously, very good news for a secondary that has been absolutely beat up down the stretch. Missing several key guys last week, and they're going to need this extra week of preparation and rest to get ready for the playoffs, because it's all hands on deck from here on out. So another reason why I'm so glad that they got that extra week, because they're going to need to heal up. You know, a lot of guys are banged up, especially on that defense. So the big time that they can have an extra week to rest up. Ravens that did not practice today: Zay Flowers, still dealing with a calf; Odell Beckham Jr., Kevin Zeitler, Kyle Hamilton, Malik Harrison, Darryl Worley, and Marlon Humphrey. So all those names, we knew we're all dealing with something. Not shocked that we did not see them. I would be surprised if we saw really any of those guys come out Saturday against the Steelers, and if we do, it's not going to be for very long, I assume. We need, there's some big names in there, and they're going to need those guys to make a deep playoff push. So again, this extra week is going to be so valuable to this team, and hopefully everyone can get as healthy as humanly possible for their divisional round game. Now, let's transition over to some Lamar Jackson news. He won the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Not shocking whatsoever. You all saw the performance he put up. 18 of 21, over 300 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, more touchdowns than incompletions, a perfect passer rating for the second time in his career. And interestingly, I heard that Patrick Mahomes has never had that, which is very surprising because Mahomes is also a beast in his own way. So very surprising. Not something you're going to hear probably talked about a lot on ESPN from the national talking heads, but I heard that and I thought it was very interesting as well. Also, very interesting to add to that, Pro Football Focus ranks Lamar Jackson, or gives him a 92 grade while under pressure since week 13, which is first in the NFL since week 13. We've heard it talked about a lot, and the beginning of the year was no different. They said the way to slow down Lamar Jackson was to get pressure on him, send blitzes. And to me, and I'm not a pro football or a pro quarterback scout, obviously, but that is what takes a good quarterback or a really good quarterback and makes them great to elite, is when you can make teams pay by pressuring you and sending extra guys your way. When you can step up there and still hit some big plays and be really efficient against the blitz and pressure. That is what makes quarterbacks elite, in my opinion. So that's awesome to see. Lamar Jackson has progressed. We've seen him mature, I feel, so much through this season. Just in this new system, a little rusty to begin with. No surprise, it was a brand new system, new pieces around him to build chemistry with, but we've seen him just mature game after game after game. He looks so calm back there in the pocket, reading the defense, waiting for his guys to come open, and he still has those legs. If he needs to buy time, escape pressure, if he needs to run, he will. But I've loved the development that is not the first move anymore. He's very content to just buy some time and find guys down the field. And for the first time in his career, he has guys that consistently can get open for him. And they do a really nice job on the scramble drill in particular. When they see him scrambling around, guys like Zay and Bate, they find ways to get open. And hopefully Mark Andrews can come back, because he's the ultimate security blanket for Lamar that we've seen through the years. Hopefully he can come back and just be another piece to this team, to this offense, and make them just borderline unstoppable is my hope. So congratulations to Lamar for winning AFC Offensive Player of the Week, as well as locking up his second MVP. I know there's debate. A lot of people don't think he should win it. Doesn't have the stats. Doesn't matter. Like it, hate it, love it, doesn't matter. Lamar Jackson is going to be the MVP this season. So now that we're done talking about that, on to our final story. Dalvin Cook was released by the Jets We've seen the stories that he's not been happy with the amount of carries he's had this season. And they, of course, as soon as any big name player is released, especially running backs, the Ravens are always linked to running backs, but as soon as he was released, of course, he's being linked to all these Super Bowl contending teams. I don't think Dalvin Cook is as bad as his stats this year are. He's averaging just over 3 yards a carry. That's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but he was running behind the Jets' offensive line, which is also not good. So as a running back, you're really as good as your offensive line is. I mean, there's some guys that do better than others. Dalvin Cook is at a point in his career, he's not the running back he was. He's had a lot of injuries, and that catches up to players. He's not young anymore, but I think he's still good. And I think he's still got some good football in him. I'm not ready to just throw him away and just say he's washed. I think there is good football left in him. If the Ravens could get him and at least maybe put him on the practice squad, because the Ravens running backs is like the top 10 most dangerous jobs on the planet. All right, their running backs, they struggle to stay healthy. So you have a guy like Dalvin who is a good player and can still give you some valuable time if he's on the practice squad even. Because I do like Gus, I like Justice. I think they can get the job done, but you just never know. And Dalvin could be another layer of insurance for this team if he's even willing to do that. I don't know that Dalvin may want to have a bigger role on a team than just a practice squad guy or a third stringer with very limited carries at this point. And I don't know if the Ravens are going to want to feature him at this point in the season. They might feel more comfortable with Melvin Gordon, who's been there this whole time. And when he stepped in this last weekend, he has some pretty good carries. His effort was off the charts. I really liked what he did. So I don't really think the Ravens are going to pull the trigger on that. I would be surprised if they did. I wouldn't hate it. I just don't think they will. Also, the reports that came out mid-season about his desire to carry the ball more and how unhappy he was with his carries, I don't know that you want to bring that in this locker room. This team seems very tight-knit. We've heard zero reports about anybody complaining about not getting the ball. And I don't know that you want to bring that into this locker room at this point. It's just a distraction to this team. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and say that. Maybe he would go in and be the best teammate ever. I don't know. I don't know that you want to mess with something that's already there and already working. I like the running backs. Like I said, if they get him and put him on the practice squad, I wouldn't hate it. And I wouldn't hate to see him in some games because I think he's still a good running back. And behind the Ravens offensive line, sure, I'm here for it. I really am. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Ravens are going to sign him. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. I want to know if you all think that maybe the Ravens will try to pick him up or maybe take a pass. We will see. But that's going to do it for this episode of Flock Talk. If you're new here, hit subscribe, like the video, comment your thoughts on today's stories, and I will see you all in the next video. Go Ravens!